Masinamkele kwakho kwinkqubo yethu iVOB Voice of the Bay. Good afternoon and welcome to your favorite talk show on Channel 260. That is your VOB with myself, Percy M. Lamani. Tonight I am hosting two political parties that will be contesting for the 29th May national elections. That is the Good Party. We all know that last weekend they revealed their election manifesto for 2024. Their president is Mama Patricia de Lille, who is the minister, she's the minister of Public Works and Infrastructure. Once again, the EFF tomorrow, they will be at East London, where they will be relieving their provincial manifesto. I will be hosting their deputy provincial chairperson, Nokuthula Mlokoti. But for now, let's welcome Mr. Siyanda Mayana, who is the regional leader here in the Nelson Mandela Bay. Mr. Mayana, good evening and welcome to VOB, Voice of the Bay.
Good evening, Percy, and good evening to the viewers at home.
Yes, as I have said that last weekend, your president, Patricia de Lille, has revealed your election manifesto for 2024, and yet she made a statement that your party, that is Good Party, has a recipe to rebalance society and stop the suffering that is endured by so many South Africans. It's a beautiful statement. You have a recipe of rebalancing society and stop the suffering that is experienced by so many South Africans. The question is, how are you going to do that? Tell us about your recipe.
Okay. No, thank you very much again, Percy. Let me make a correction first. And Patricia de Lille is no longer the minister of
yes, she's the minister of tourism. Yeah, she's the minister of tourism.
That's one correction.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Getting to your question, Percy. In December, we went to a conference as branches of the Good Party. And, one of the things that came out very strongly, in that conference was this issue that you are raising. How do we, remedy the situation?
Yes.
The issues and
rebalancing society.
Yeah. The issues and the struggles that the South Africans are facing. And I'm going to zoom in one of the things that came out very boldly to say that we came out with a concept of what is called basic income grant. Now, that basic income grant concept is underpinned by the one of the founding pillars and principles of the Good Party, which is called social justice. Now, we looked around and as people that always communicate and interact with South Africans, ordinary, unemployed and poor South Africans, we found that, look, the one of the immediate issues that the people are faced with, is the issue of ukutya, the stomach. We need to feed the people. Now, how do you do that? Because people are unemployed. They can't afford to go and buy themselves food. Now we said the 350 that the current government, is offering our people is not sufficient enough. Now, we live in the townships and we know what we're talking about. If you go and, to the spaza shops, you would find that there is what is called as the small packages, I don't know what they call them, but you would find that those parcels will cost you around 400 to 500, because they are meant for the poor, those that can afford. Now, we said, what is then the fair amount something that our people would be able to, to utilize. And then we said, look, if you offer our people 1,000, we know that that is not a permanent solution, but as an immediate solution to the struggles that they are facing. You can be able to buy what I've referenced now. You can be able, in that 1,000, to buy data for yourself, and you are still left, with taxi fare or bus fare to be able to move around. Because if you are unemployed, you need to have bus fare to go and submit your CVs. You need to go and visit an internet shop so that you are able to print, and all of that costs money. Hence, I'm saying, we know that it's not a permanent solution, but we're saying that amount, at least, we're saying it is something, that can be able to take our people through, weeks or a couple of days, so that they are able to have something on the table.
But there is a notion that that says the people of this country doesn't want to depend on government. They want to do things on their own. Seemingly, by stressing this issue of grants, it seems as if, as Good Party, you are promoting this dependency syndrome.
We are definitely not promoting dependency syndrome. What you are saying, as I said before, this is not a permanent solution. You must remember, in order for us to be able to create jobs as a country, you must create a conducive environment so that investments can come and all of that. And, when you have economic growth, then you are able to create jobs. But you are saying currently, if you can't tell people to wait for economic growth.
Mr. Mayana,
what do you do in the meantime?
Mr. Mayana, most of the political parties are talking about job creation. I do not hear your party saying anything about the creation of jobs. How are you going to create jobs so that people can do it on their own?
Look, Budpace, the environment currently in South Africa is not conducive. In fact, let's say the current government.
But how are you going to do it to be conducive as the Good Party, as the party that you wish or you intend to be in power?
Look, one of the things that came out very strongly in terms of the presentation of the manifesto was to say there are many factors, that contribute to unemployment. Now, speak to the investors so that local investors and investors from overseas, so that you are able to have foreign direct investment. However, you are not going to be able to do that if you have high rates of unemployment. You have high rates of corruption. Now, if we are able to fight corruption and you are able to create that conducive environment by fighting crimes and other things, it simply means, therefore, the investors will be comfortable to come to the country and create jobs. Remember, the government does not create jobs. Its job and its responsibility is to make sure that the environment itself is conducive.
Yes.
But with the current the rates of corruption in the country, which businessman or investor will be able to come to the country and invest money?
We will leave it there for now and talk about the elimination of corruption so that people can find jobs, so that investors can be attracted to come here in South Africa. Let's go for a commercial break. Once again, good evening and welcome to VOB Voice of the Bay. I am still with the regional chairperson of Good Party, Mr. Siyanda Mayana. Once again, welcome, Mr. Mayana. Mr. Mayana, as you have alluded that the threat to service delivery in this country is corruption. How are you going to fight it so that you can make the situation conducive for foreign investors to come here in South Africa to invest so that people can get jobs and so on. The threat is corruption.
Yeah.
And good, what good says about the elimination, the fight against this corruption?
Look, the first thing you need to do, you are correct to say the corruption is a threat, to growth. The first thing you need to do is to remove the ANC from power. That is what the voters need to do. Because you cannot have corrupt individuals presiding over programs that are meant to eliminate corruption. Because that would simply mean they have to fight against themselves. Now, the first step is to make sure that the ANC government, which is not trusted by the world, is removed from power.
Do you have do you have that capacity to remove the ANC as good?
Look, I don't think it's a question of whether good has got the capacity to do that or not. I think it's a question of, the relatability of the message that is being passed by the party. If we're able to convince our society, through the policies that we are presenting to them and the programs, that we are presenting to help themselves, then that simply means it is the power lies with the people. It does not lie with the good party. It lies with the people. You can present, a beautiful program to the people and have great policies, but if the people don't resonate with that, or they are not convinced with what you are saying, then that simply means they are going to continue to vote for a party that is going to continue to suppress them, and not assist them out of their struggles. So to add more good pace, if good were to be given an opportunity, to govern, firstly, you need to start by implementing or acting, on the recommendations of the Zondo Commission. We had the Zondo Commission about 3 years ago, where there were recommendations that certain people, must be put to task. And not even a single one of those people has been prosecuted. We understand that there are, cases, it varies from case to case, and some of the cases are frivolous, but some of the cases have been proven. Some of the testimonies that were there, the NPA has tried to follow it up. However, we are saying that was an indication of the rot, of the corruption that is taking place in South Africa.
But the president in parliament yesterday, he was asked by different political parties such as the Democratic Alliance, the IFP, about what you are saying, and yet his response on that, he says that they are waiting for the investigations from the NPA.
But please, there is no government that can preside over its own investigation. No ANC of Ramaphosa is going to investigate itself.
Are you saying the NPA is a wing of the African National Congress?
That's not what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
I'm saying, remember, these are institutions of government.
Independent institutions.
I don't believe that they are independent, especially under the ANC of Ramaphosa.
So you don't trust?
I don't trust them.
You don't trust the NPA?
I don't trust them. You must remember, there was, these people get deployed there. Whether there are processes on paper that, purport to be followed, but you must know, we know that these people are deployed there. They deployed Shamila Patoi. What has she done ever since she was deployed? There are serious cases that were submitted to the NPA.
So are you
even
saying,
today they are not?
Are you saying, Mr. Mayana, there is no need of having that institution called National Prosecuting Authority?
You need to reform it. The National Prosecuting Authority is there, for a purpose. But that purpose, is not being fulfilled on the basis of the individuals that preside over it. I can't even call it incompetence. It's not even a matter of incompetence, but it's corrupt individuals that are, installed in those institutions to protect the current individuals that are in power. For instance, if you had institutions that are honest and have integrity, the Phala matter would have been dealt with fairly. You saw what happened. I don't even have to outline it here. The president keeping money in the sofa. What is that? What did the NPA do about that?
Okay,
there was no appetite to even investigate that.
Let's leave it there before we run out of time. Let's talk about the 30 years of human rights in South Africa. Your experience as Good Party about human rights over a period of 30 years.
Look, Budpes, I think if it were up to me, I would really, characterize the situation that the South African public is faced with as a humanitarian crisis. One would say that I'm a bit exaggerating, but if you talk about human rights, that is hinged on the service delivery or basic service delivery that is, given to our people or supposed to be given to our people by the government. Now, let me make two examples where the government is failing, to provide human rights. Now, I'm saying you have load shedding. If we don't have load shedding, it becomes a surprise for that day. We used to have days where if there's load shedding, we would be surprised and would be angry as South Africans. We have become so accustomed to it that we are surprised when we don't have load shedding. You see, now that speaks to the human rights. It is our human right to, access to electricity is a basic and human right.
Are you saying this Chapter 9 institution called the Human Rights Commission is not doing enough?
Look, I don't think they have the capacity to change some of the things, that take place against the human or the public of South Africa or the injustices. It simply means, Budpes, there are millions of cases or hundreds of thousands of cases that they're dealing with every day. They don't have to deal with issues of service delivery, like your water crisis that we face with, your load shedding that we are facing. It means those issues have to be dealt with by people, by voting out the ANC. Then there's no need for us to take these matters to a Human Rights Commission, because we would have voted out the rot that is currently presiding over government.
We've got less than a minute.
Yes.
Tomorrow is the 21st of March,
Yes.
Human Rights Day.
Yes.
We are in a Human Rights Month.
Yes.
Any activity on your side for tomorrow?
No, look, there is a couple of programs that, as far as I know, I'm assigned to one. And I know that we have a program, we have a couple of programs. I'm not sure.
Here in the Nelson Mandela.
Yes, in the Nelson Mandela. As far as national is concerned, I know that at the national level, Andipet and the SG are going to have a program. I think, if I'm correct, that would be Joburg or Cape Town. So, yeah, but basically, let me, part by saying, it doesn't matter if we have these small programs that talk about human rights, for as long as we have the ANC presiding, over the public or the human rights, it means there will never be,
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Siyanda Manana, for joining us tonight. Siyabulela kakhulu.
Ndiyabulela nami, Budpes.
Sabaleka sengasevenkileni emveni kwevenkile EFF Deputy Provincial Chairperson. Sibuyile kakhona evenkileni sinamkela kwinkqubo yethu iVoice of the Bay. Ngalolu thuba si kunye naye Deputy Provincial Chairperson we EFF Nokuthula Mlokoti. Now we are joined by the Deputy Provincial Chairperson of the EFF, Nokuthula Mlokoti, who is also a member of the Eastern Cape Legislature. Good evening and welcome, Mamu Mlokoti.
Good evening and welcome to you and the viewers at home. Let me just fix one thing. I'm not yet the member of the legislature.
Not yet.
Maybe I might be in the near future, but not now.
Okay. Mamu Mlokoti, tomorrow you will be having a provincial rally or election manifesto rally of the EFF in the province. Is that so?
Yes, that's correct.
Where it will be held?
The provincial manifesto rally will be held in Absa Stadium in Buffalo City. Yes, that's where it will be held.
That's where you will be reliving the Eastern Cape manifesto of the EFF.
Yes, that's correct.
Let's look at the issues around economy. What are your pillars of the economy according to your political party in the Eastern Cape? What are you intending to bring for the people of the Eastern Cape? As you know that this province, its backbone is agriculture. What are you bringing in your manifesto? What can we expect from your manifesto in terms of changing things around economy?
Okay. No, I don't think I get your question, but as the EFF, as you know, that we're advocating for...
Do you want me to rephrase my question?
No, it's fine. I'll try to answer to what I think.
Do you hear what I'm asking you?
Yes, I can. I think I can hear it. It's fine. As you know that one of our, in fact, the first cardinal pillar of the EFF talks to expropriation of land without compensation. Well, in the Eastern Cape, as you have said, in the agriculture sector, that is why we talk of expropriating land. It's because we want to assist people as well with land and with machinery so that they can be able to work at the land. Is that what we were asking?
I'm talking about economy.
Yes,
how are you going to boost the economy of this province?
This is what is going to happen. When we have expropriated the land and we have given people machinery to work the land, the EFF, you can even go to your spa and to your schools. They are not getting the veggies and all the other from the people of the Eastern Cape. You'll find out, Tuguti, most of them, they are imported. So what we are going to do, Tina, we are going to avail the machinery for them. Then we we make sure that your spa and the other supermarkets that are bigger and even schools in this thing of feeding scheme, they buy from those people so that we make sure that the economy of the Eastern Cape is running around and remaining in the province. That's what we are going to do.
Let's look at the issue of reindustrialization. What are you saying as EFF?
No, we know that at the center of any country that wants to develop, it's industrialization that must be at the center. So as the EFF, we want to revamp, revitalize all those, even the factories, everything that was closed by this government that is incapable, that is of the ANC. You can even see that even here, the trains are not working. Everything is just not working under this government of the ANC. So we'll make sure that all those things are revamped.
You're talking about the closed industries
under the
ANC government.
Yes.
Which industries are you talking about?
If you can check Wena Budbesi, even now, I doubt that you can even go to the industries that were there in Butterworth. They are closed, and even the train is no longer moving. It's closed. Where they were manufacturing a lot of things in the Eastern Cape. Fine, I made an example about Butterworth. In Butterworth, there used to be factories that manufacture a lot of goods and things that would export. But now, currently, that is not happening. So we would make sure that those are up and running as the EFF government.
The report that we got from the speech or the State of the Province address under reindustrialization, the Premier has mentioned a number of areas where they have managed to reindustrialize those factories like Komatimbaza and other areas.
I'm still listening.
Yes. In fact, in the SOPA speech by the Premier, he has mentioned a number of places where they have managed to reopen the industries, like Abomatimbaza.
But I think that remains a dream under the ANC government. I don't think that they have the Timbaza factory was never closed. Let's start there. So we'll believe that they are really doing something by opening the factories that were in the parts of Equa and the others. But the one that was in Timbaza was up and running. Not unless my memory doesn't serve me correctly.
Under agricultural industry,
okay,
what are you saying as EFF according to your manifesto of the province?
No, according to the manifesto of our province, as we have said, I feel like this question will be a repetition of the first one. We are going to expropriate land first, as our cardinal pillar has outlined. Then afterwards, we will then make available the equipment and the resources so that people can be able to work the land. And I've mentioned that there's even bigger supermarkets and that can make sure that they buy what is produced in the province, so that we make sure that the economy of the province is then it remains in the province.
Before we go for a commercial ad break, we've got wonderful places in this province.
Yes.
That promotes this sector of tourism.
Yes.
How are you going to boost it, tourism industry in the province as EFF?
First of all, before we talk tourism, we must talk proper roads and all those things. In the Eastern Cape, there's even, we can't even be able to, there are tourist attractions, but they are not well maintained and as a lungiswa to make sure that they attract.
Can you give us an example?
Tourists. And there's also, like I said,
can you give us an example?
The roads, for example, we have beautiful
places. No, about the tourist, just one tourist destination that is not properly maintained.
I'll give you, ne? For example, when you go to that side of Port St. John's, Port St. John's has nice tourist attraction areas, but it's been how many months, or let me say years, since floods occurred that side, and there hasn't been an effort to fix the roads. And in fact, even when they were there, you would find out Uguti going to Yomgaz, that side, there's gravel road,
and
bad and not maintained.
And how are you going to boost this sector or this industry of tourism as EFF?
The only way to do it is to firstly make sure that we get the proper infrastructure. We fix the roads, we make sure that the roads going to those attraction areas are properly maintained, so that...
Let's leave it there for now.
Okay.
Because of time, let's go for a commercial ad break. Sibuyela kakhona evenkleni sekwinkqubo yethu i-VOB Voice of the Bay. Mamlokothi masikwamkele kwakho, Deputy Provincial Chairperson.
Ndiyabulela Dr. Percy.
Let's talk about your way of assisting creative sector. When we talk of the creative sector, we're talking broadly about film industry, musicians, actors, and so on. Because these people are crying that this sector is left behind. There is no financial assistance compared to sport. But this creative sector is always crying about issues like budgets and so on. You know that even in your rally tomorrow, there will be some musicians who will be entertaining people, and yet they get jobs not on a daily basis, but their job depends on events that are taking place at certain times. And yet, how are you intending to solve their daily challenges, especially around jobs?
Firstly, Percy, I'll possess it. This is one of its sectors. It's true because there are many actors that are talented, actors and actresses that are talented, the singers, but when they die having nothing. Nyani, they have to even hitchhike to sets and whatnot with all that talent that they have when I put Pepsi. That's true. As the EFF, we've been doing consultative meetings with all the sectors, including the sector that we are talking about of the creative industry. If you would check, even to Parliament, they have a voice. We've added people like Tato Ringo Madlingozi, people like the former trumpet singer. We have a lot of them within our ranks so that they can be able to be the voice to all the other singers and actors within. So as the EFF, what we are intending to do is to increase the budget, firstly, so that Nabo Basbone, it's talent. Some of them went to school for it, as doctors and other professions go to school. So there has to be a budget so that they get paid. And also want to make sure that even in the Eastern Cape, Anditi, we have aspiring artists, we have aspiring actors. So Nabongo and into yenzekayo, kuzube star in the Eastern Cape, you have to go to Gauteng. You can't be a star in the Eastern Cape. So as the EFF want to create in Dobana, we must have studios in across the regions in South Africa. We must have recording studios. We must have the theaters, everything that people in Gauteng and in other provinces have access to, so as to assist the industry ukuthi nayo ikwazi ukuthi ithuthuke. Yes, thank you so much.
Let's move on and look at the challenges facing young people in the province. What are your interventions that you intend to do to assist our young people as the EFF government in case you win the elections? What are you?
We are definitely going to win.
What are you intending to assist our young people? Because most of them are crying. Yes. They have passed in universities. They are sitting at home. Some, they want funding. for their businesses and so on. Seemingly, it's not enough what is provided by sector education and training authorities, that is SETAs. It's not enough for the young people, but what other ways of assisting our young people in terms of making a point that their dreams are coming true?
Thank you. Well, there are categories of young people. There are those that passed matric, who don't have, let's say, funds to go to universities and all. First of all is the EFF. In one of our cardinal pillars, we have stated it clearly that Tina, we are advocating for free quality education. That is, we want to do away with even your NSFAS and the other bursaries or loans that have to do with education. We just want education to be free. So in that case, so everyone, and we want to increase the capacity, in fact, because our universities currently do not have capacity to enroll like everyone. So we'll have to first start it there to increase the capacity in universities so that they're able to enroll more students. Then we make the education free. Secondly, would make the opportunities available for them so that those who want to venture into different activities so that they may be able to do so. Because for even those that want to venture into sport, so that they can be able to do so. Because you know, Guti, we have different talents, even the youth has different talents and all that. So it would make all those avenues be available for them so that they can be able to choose where to go. Because really now, you can see under the government of ANC, the youth is just busy as Lokshin. Even if you can drive now, you go there, you'll find them in taverns, you'll find them besitya eat drugs and all those things. So under the EFF government, we'll make sure that that doesn't happen, because we'll create enough capacity so that those who want to venture in sport do so, free education so that those that are not financial liable can be able to go and study.
Do you think young people will vote for EFF?
Most definitely, they will vote for EFF.
The following question will be:
Let me
why,
tell you why.
Why it will attract them?
Let me tell you why. In the EFF before.
What will attract the young
before
people?
We ventured, and we are venturing into elections this year. So the previous year, we have had a campaign that is called a voter registration. So across South Africa, across the province and in the region, we had targets of registering people. So mostly the people that we have attracted and the people that we have registered, it's mostly young people that have shown that they have interest in the EFF. Hence, we are sure that we will attract more young voters than any other voters.
What will attract them?
Well, what will attract them is, you know, most of the youngsters, they are good with technology and everything else, and they are able to read on their own. And also, the EFF has showed capacity. Young people do watch your TV Parliament. They're interested in news. Even on internet, they can read what the EFF is about. Unlike old people, you know what? If you don't vote for us, you're going to lose the grant, which is the grant that the EFF is going to make sure that EIUNUSA when it's in power. So you can never actually be able to like the old people. So they'll be able to read and understand and get what the EFF is about, and which is what they are advocating for as well.
We will leave it there for now and go for a break for the last time. This is our last segment with the Deputy Chairperson of EFF in the Eastern Cape, Nokuthula Mlokoti. Once again, good evening.
Good evening, and good evening to the viewers one last time.
On the 21st of March this month, you will be gathering in East London to reveal your manifesto. Under which theme?
The theme is one in all provinces. It's end load shedding now, our land and jobs now. That is our theme as the EFF, because we believe that those are the things that should happen immediately. Those are the things that we are demanding. I mean, it's the bare minimum. Yes.
These are your key priorities.
These are our key priorities.
Why have you chosen these three key priorities?
It's quite obvious. We've been fighting for the land for over decades now. So the emphasis on now, on land, on jobs, and on load shedding is that it's something that has been dragged and it just needs to happen instantly. So people do not have jobs, more especially in the Eastern Cape. Research has shown that the Eastern Cape is one of the provinces as in phambili as nabantu aba unemployed. So if uqwalasele not so long ago, eMnquma, if I'm not mistaken, in one of the rural areas there's a mother who killed herself and her children due to ungabi namsebenzi and due to poverty. We know ukuthi for the fact that there's poverty, it means that akho msebenzi, so akho ngeniso ikhoyo. And also we've been experiencing load shedding in the country for, I don't know whether, but it has been dragging for too long. So that is why we have based, and load shedding does not only affect, it's not only ukucima kombane. We must get that. We must, if we can make a research, there are people abaninzi abadendiweyo emisebenzini. There are companies that are closing, and there are companies that have been closed due to that. So that is why we are emphasizing on that a lot, because a lot of damage has been affecting the country and is affecting the Eastern Cape in that aspect.
The South Africans need a solution on this issue of load shedding.
Yes.
What solution are you coming up with?
No, the solution that we can come up with as the organization on this thing of load shedding, firstly, we would have to fix the infrastructure. On the infrastructure, if we can check, in fact, we would find out that the infrastructure that is there, it's the infrastructure that was there even during apartheid. The government that we are having now has never even had appetite to go and try to change all those things. So one of the major things that we can do is to change the infrastructure. Then we build capacity to Eskom.
There are two.
If I can allude to this one. For example, in the metro, the EFF is currently heading the Directorate of Electricity and Energy, and Iphume Uphulo in trying to, and we are not in charge of South Africa, but at least in the metro, we do have the MMC of electricity and energy. So we are trying to do it here in the metro first to show that it is possible to the whole of South Africa. For example, the IPPs have been procured. It's in the process, so that at least there's a reduction of load shedding in the metro.
Okay. Human Rights Day, 30 years celebrations under this democratic dispensation. Your experience as EFF, really, do we have to celebrate these 30 years of human rights?
On my side, I don't think there's anything to actually celebrate about tomorrow.
What does EFF say about the 30 years of human rights that will be celebrated on the 21st
Firstly,
March?
I want to understand, do we even have rights? I don't think that we have rights. If they are there, they are, ndingathi zihombisile if they are there, the rights. As the EFF, as you know, we are saying that even though we were free and we were given rights in 1994, but we believe that the right that is vital is the economic right. We believe that we need to have rights to economy in South Africa. So abantu abamnyama sinothi abakakhululeki economically. So they do not have rights to participate in the economy of South Africa and of economy of the Eastern Cape. So on that one of saying that we have rights, we beg to differ on that one. Masibe ne rights zokwenza into yonke nangendlela yonke, as how white people are also having rights. But for now, we do not have rights at all. If that one right is kept away from us.
Do you believe that here in South Africa there is a freedom of expression?
In South Africa, there's a freedom of expression.
Do you believe that there is that right called the freedom of expression?
Not really. Nayo, it has some, it depends on what you touch and who you touch. I think let's just put it that way.
Let's go to Parliament.
Okay.
How many things that you say as EFF openly and freely,
Yes.
expressing your anger, don't you think that is one of the rights? Freedom of expression.
We wouldn't really call it that. Because if you would check, whenever the EFF, even in parliaments and in legislatures, whenever it stands firm whenever it stands firm, for example, not so long ago, even our members in parliament are suspended because they stood
because of expressing
their views.
Don't you think that it's a freedom of expressing that? Because we are expressing, it's a freedom of, you express what you want to say, but on the other side, that person is opposing what you are saying.
No. If ever they were free in expressing themselves, they wouldn't be booted out by securities.
Okay, let's move on.
The House wouldn't call securities
let's
to remove them.
move on and take another example.
Violently so.
Yes,
in fact.
I agree with you.
Okay.
Most of the time
we are thrown out like that when we are expressing our views.
Yeah.
So there's no such a thing. We are agreeing that there's no such a thing as,
let's talk about
as
the
freedom of expression.
Let's talk about the freedom of association.
Okay.
Do you think that is existing in South Africa?
Freedom of association?
Yes.
It is existing to some extent as well. Just like the freedom of speech. Because I would say that, but what I would encourage, in fact, even the viewers, is that on that one, they should express themselves. They should not be afraid to, even on these elections, to associate themselves with us so that they can be able to vote and change the current situation that we are faced with in the Eastern Cape and in South Africa as a whole.
So, all in all, you are saying there are no rights?
There are none whatsoever because they have limits. So we can't fully call them rights.
Nokuthola Mlokoti, Deputy Provincial Chairperson of EFF in the province. Nkosi kakhulu ngokuba kunye nathi.
Nathi siyabulela Put Babes. We thank the viewers at home as well. Thank you so much for having us.
Ngolo hlobo ke nenkqubo yethu VOB Voice of the Bay has come to an end. Good night.